Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Linda, a second? Eden, any corrections or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll move on to the reports. The Tri-County Regional Planning Commission minutes, unsafe structures and development summary. Does anybody have any questions or comments on these? Okay, I move to receive and file those. Moving on to zoning case. It's case ZBA 2024-0056, petition of Merle and Vicky Turner. Andrew? Excuse me. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Linda, Sharon, second. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is zoning case CBA 2024-0056, the petition of Merle and Vicky Turner. They are requesting a proposed land split in the A2 agricultural zoning district. The petitioner proposes to divide 5 acres from an existing 10.02 acre tract. They would like to divide off the northern part of their property so that their daughter may build a new house at this site. This is located in the Jubilee Hills subdivision, where there is a significant amount of similar sized lots. The proposed parcel will be served by a new private well and private septic system. It's located at 12901 North Jubilee Hills Drive in Jubilee Township. There were 0 consents and 0 objections on file. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval with restriction by a vote of 4-0, and that restriction was that the parcel may not be split again in the future.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions for Andrew? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next one's a subdivision waiver, case number WAV 2024-0005, petition of Pamela J. Morris, a successor, trustee of the Bonnie L. Mabius Revocable Trust. Can I have a motion to put that on the floor? Linda, second. Eden. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request to waive the minimum of 60 foot of public road frontage for parcels being created by tract survey which are 10 acres or more in size. The petitioner proposes to divide an existing 149.12 acre parcel with 33 feet of existing road frontage into 2 tracts. In this case, each tract will have 16.5 feet of frontage. There will be an easement recorded to grant access to the full use of the 33 feet to each parcel. The intent is to settle a trust, and the subject parcel consists of row crop agriculture, and the beneficiaries will continue to use the property as farmland. It is located at West Civil Defense Road in Section 7 of Kickapoo Township. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions? Linda?
I just had one comment. Did we go through and take Civil Defense Center Drive, correct it to Civil Defense Drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we saw the notation from...
Yeah, from IT, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
Chairman, I will be voting to abstain since I'm the road commissioner in Kickapoo Township.
Okay. He has a audience member has put his hand up. Sir, would you like to speak? Yeah. Please sit down and state your name, address for the record.
My name is Robert Potts. I'm with the law firm of Whitney and Potts, LTD in Elwood. I'm representing Pamela Morris, the trustee of the Bonnie Mavis Trust. We've been working with the beneficiaries over a number of years to get the trust settled. There's 3 beneficiaries. We've had 1 beneficiary pass away since Mrs. Mavis passed away. It's been some difficulty to get to this point in dividing up all of the land, and this is what the beneficiaries, after hard negotiations, have agreed to. Just to give you some, location, at the junction of I-74 and the Kickapoo Edmonds Road, this Civil Defense Drive is the first road to the right as you pass the gas station. It doesn't look like a road. It's improved with grass. It's never been maintained, which is fine. The land, there's 150 acres east of the gas station. There's a parcel of land that's owned by a different owner. Then you go about 60 rods, and then we come to the southeast quarter of Section 7. As far as the history of this, the Mavis family owned the whole southeast quarter of Section 7 prior to I-74. I-74 dissected it in a diagonal means, leaving a few acres south of the road and the rest of the acres, the 150 north of the road. Prior to I-74, access was on the south. In other words, it's a contiguous 160-acre quarter section. I-74 split it. And then over the course of the years, IDOT purchased two 16.5-foot strips of land leading from the Kickapoo Edwards Road east to the west line of the Mavis property. So the only access to a public road that this property would ever have is by virtue of Civil Defense Center Road or whatever, okay? And to make it, to deem it a public road has been a little difficult as well. But in the event, we're proposing, since there's only 33.5 foot of frontage, and we have two landowners. One is claiming it's going to be taking the west 50 acres that will have frontage on the south 16.5 feet. And then the landowner that has the 90 acres on the east will have, I think, 40 to 50 feet of lane coming through the other piece of property, except for the last 60 feet. And they'll have north 15 feet of ownership, well, north 15, north 31.5 foot of ownership of the quarter section. And the 50 acres, which is adjacent to the road, will have the south 16.5 feet of frontage. And they'll each have reciprocal ingress and egress easements over the other person's property, so that they'll both have 33.5 feet of frontage on the highway. So that's where we are. It's the only thing we can do. We really need your help in getting this approved so we can get this trust closed and try to make the beneficiary happy.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Mr. Potts? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And Danny abstained for being the road commissioner. Okay, moving on, we're at public comment. Is there any public comment today? Okay, miscellaneous. Jenny has something she'd like to share with us.
Chairman? Just a quick miscellaneous. I want to speak to the capabilities of our zoning director. I recently had a constituent case. Too many times we're forced by ordinances or other reasons that we can't help people. In this case, we did, and I would credit Andrew Braun for his willingness to have an extended conversation until we really found out what the actual violation was. The violation that was causing the problem was not actually a violation, but there was other extenuating circumstances. We got to the bottom of it. We did this while he was on vacation, and I just want to say thank you, Andrew, for what I consider above and beyond the call of duty. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you, Andrew. Jenny?
Thank you, Chairman. I just asked the chairman if I could say a few words to the Land Use Committee. This will go to the full county board as well, but especially you all as it relates to wind projects that you may have heard there are talks about a few wind projects in Peoria County. I had this conversation with the ZBA members as well, so just thought it might be helpful for the members of land use. The ZBA, as you know, they are the fact-finding body for special use hearings. So they will receive testimony if there is ever a wind project case that comes before them. Nothing has been filed to date, but if there is one, they will be the fact-finding body. They will hear and receive testimony. Likely that'll be a lengthy process. And then, just like any other special use, it would come up through land use and then to the county board. So your role doesn't change just because it's a wind project case, but you will, as we always talk about, only be reviewing what happens at the ZBA level as far as facts that are entered into evidence. So what I explained to them was, no doubt you're already being contacted by members of the public. You have constituents, you're elected officials, so of course you're going to hear from and listen to constituents, but to always keep in mind that what you are able to consider is what is received through the official process in public hearings. And what we encourage the ZBA members is to say, encourage those constituents to come to the hearings so that what they want you to hear is actually heard in the right venue. So that was kind of the first point. The next point is, just like a judge is hearing a case in a lawsuit, they are the one who makes decisions, hears the evidence and makes decisions. So just like a judge wouldn't want to have conversations about particular cases out and about on the street corner, just kind of keep that in mind as your role as well, that when there is a particular application at hand, that you're probably going to want to stay away from hearing really specific things about a specific case, just because you're somewhat like a judge or an arbitrator. And then always the reminder that constituents can contact you, of course, via email, but anything that you respond back is FOIable. And like we tell our children, if you don't want it in a headline or on social media, don't put it in writing. So that will go for county board member advice as well. So happy to field any questions, but it really isn't any different than any other special use case you hear. It's just, you're gonna probably get a lot more coming at you. So wanted to throw that out. Mm-hmm.
I did get a phone call, and the question from that constituent, not in my district, but an acquaintance I know that lives out in that area, was, did I think it would help to, if they circulated petitions? And I said, it can't hurt. So am I within your guidelines? Should I have told them can't hurt?
No, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's encouraging them to be part of the process itself. So I think that is good advice to give to a constituent. Sure. We always want to hear from the public, and I think that's a good way to do it.
But if I'm going to say that, I want to remind them that circulate your petitions and get them to the Zoning Board of Appeals, because they probably wouldn't be seen later in the process. Is that correct?
I think petitions, do they become part of the record, Andrew, that if they're mailed in as part of the case, that would go in the packets for the ZBA?
Right, provided we receive the information on or before the hearing.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So if they're going to circulate petitions, it needs to be before the ZBA hearing.
Right, and no applications have been filed, so that is,
right,
like, yeah, in the future. But yes, if application arrives, there will be a hearing date set, and they would need to get that in before.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions for Jenny?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I'd just like to ask Jenny to add a little bit more on where we're at in the process and who we will be hiring.
Right. So the wind projects that the county has been made aware of by the developers reaching out to different county staff members, the developers have been asking questions and having communications, and we have decided to get outside counsel who deals with wind farm. Through the ZBA, they deal with these wind farm cases regularly. There are several attorneys in the area and in Illinois, and we have hired Andy Kite with Heil Royster to represent the county. So, for example, some of the county's hearings go on for usually in the evenings for 18, 20 days, and so we have outside counsel that coordinates all of the hearings and sits to kind of my role with committees. He would be doing that with the ZBA for the wind project process. In conjunction with that, will also be, in addition to legal review, there will be engineering review of any applications or contracts that come forward. And so engineers will also, outside engineers, not the highway department, Highway Department and I will also look at things, but we are going to have dedicated engineers as well that will be retained for any wind projects that come through. These are just really niche areas, and you don't have a lot of time under the statute to handle applications once they come in, so we wanted to make sure we were ready, and we have, like I said, outside counsel already hired, and the engineers, we have a few names, but we'll probably make that selection soon.
Jenny,
Any
could
other
you just
questions? Go ahead.
clarify a little bit for some confusion on that? Some of that stuff is administrative procedures, not votes that would come to the county board for, like, would the local road use agreement actually have to come to a vote, or is that administrative? Because I think there's confusion out there in that realm too.
So for a road use agreement, there will be township roads and county roads that would be implicated. Townships will do their own road use agreements, and the county would do its own road use agreements. I assume that will go to the county board for a vote, because the county will be a party to that road use agreement. Although there wouldn't be money involved, so I'll have to marinate on that.
Any other questions? Okay, anybody else have anything else for miscellaneous? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.